What's up, everybody? Troy Casey here on this lovely fall day here in Glenwood Springs. We are here to talk about the beers that we are releasing for you for October for our extended family membership. We've got a stout available. First up, we've got a vanilla barrel-aged wrong answers only. This is made with some of the most rare vanilla in the world. Next up, we've got a second batch of Propped Up, a collab with Floodland Brewing out of the Pacific Northwest. Then we've got Ghost Note dry hopped with Nelson and Motueka hops. We've got another collab we did with Forager Brewing. This one is with Raspberries called Like Minds. And then last but not least, we've got a great blend of Undertone with Elephant Heart Plums. First up, we've got a new blend of vanilla barrel-aged wrong answers only. This is made with massive amounts of some of the rarest vanilla in the world, a couple specialty beans that come from Brazil. There's more information on the email that we're going to send out, but I can't even pronounce these names. But anyway, we were only given a very limited amount that we could buy, but we used it and did a 2-barrel blend with some very extended aged barrels of barrel-aged wrong answers only. This is a great one. We just poured it at Denver Rare Beer Fest and we got great feedback on it. So this one is going to be available to BDF as well. Next up, we've got a second batch of Propped Up. This is a collab that we did with Floodland. We did many barrels with this collab with Floodland. Some of them turned out terrible. We dumped them, but our favorite ones you've already got to try. But we had one punch-in barrel that we let age for a few more months, and it was just too good to blend into something else. So we wanted to do it again as a collab with Floodland. So for those of you who might have missed the first release, we got a second batch of Propped Up. This one is tasty. Let's try it right now. This was conditioned almost 4 months. This has been conditioning for almost 4 months. If you remember, this collab where we took the recipe that Floodland uses for their house saison, and then we aged it on beers that, we aged it with, fermented it with their same yeast culture. So this is basically almost all entirely Floodland, but with our process. They are a lot more hop forward in their saison recipe, and so this was, oh, there it goes. So this is really fun for us to make. Just on the nose, you can smell much more of that hop influence on the base beer. Medium to medium low acidity, just massive complexity. It almost tastes like a fruit beer. If I would have tried it by itself, I swear I might have thought this was a fruited beer. It's got so much complex esters in the aroma and in the taste that maybe like some light pear or just kind of a light citrus character that I would have thought were in there. But this is a fun one to always try somebody else's yeast or even their techniques for the recipes. This is a really fun one. I hope we get to do it again. Next up, we've got a dry hop sour. This is Ghost Note dry hop with some of our favorite IPA hops that we've been playing around with, specifically Nelson and Motueka hops. It has, believe it or not, it has been a minute since we did anything dry hop sour with Nelson, I think. And so this is a fun one as well. We took a couple barrels. We aged it on these dry hops because we were trying to come up with something fun. We love Nelson, Motueka, and Rawaka for our Hop Knock Life, and so we wanted to try to see how that did with the sour. Ghost Note being our spelt farmhouse beer. It has a lot of body in the base from the spelt and a lot of complex esters. Those are shining through along with some really nice clean hop notes, some of those citrusy tropical hop notes. Same acid as what we're getting from this. Medium acidity, medium low acidity, very clean dry hop profile. Gone are the years from years and years ago where we had a kind of a lingering bitterness from those dry hops. It's much more integrated in the beer. Also, this is about 3 months in the bottle, so it's had lots of time to mature and develop and kind of smooth out. But you're getting the complex aromas from the base beer, you're getting the hoppiness from the dry hops that really just balance really well with the base beer characteristics. It's a good one. Next up, we've got another collab. This one's called Like Minds that we did with Forager. Much like how we do our side project collaborations, these guys came out and we fermented a mutually agreed upon farmhouse beer with each other's yeast blend. So not only our yeast blend, but we used Forager's sour yeast culture as well. Well over a year ago, I think these guys came out, and this was just a bit of fun one. We kind of didn't know what to do with it. We wanted to do some fruit, and we don't often. Everything's filming today. This is nuts. We don't often get to do raspberries with these collabs, and so this one was a really fun one to try. Big Pacific Northwest raspberry characteristics. But a lot of sweetness from the unfermentable sugar alcohols that we're getting in there. Again, there's significant differences between our raspberry sour ales and these collabs because we're getting different influences from the base beer, which is definitely coming from the different yeast cultures that we are playing around with. So this is a fun one. About 2 pounds per gallon on the raspberries, but again, it's very intense, jammy from the sweetness, and it smells like a raspberry sorbet. Last but not least, we've got Undertone Elephant Heart Plum. This is the last of the plum beers that we're releasing from the 2022 harvest. So this one is aged with about 2 pounds per gallon of Elephant Heart plums. Earlier this year, we did the exclusive blend of Elephant Heart preserves with Ghost Note. This is the one that we blended down a little bit to let the base beer shine through, along with the Undertone. Undertone base beers along with the Elephant Heart plums. Elephant Heart plums are like a blood plum. So the outside of the plum, it almost looks kind of brownish and green, but the inside, the fruit, is just intense red. I love the foam that plum beers give us. I mean, this will last all day if I let it. But on the nose, even though the color doesn't necessarily show it, on the nose it's just super intense plum characteristics. In the base is the normal amount of acidity that we would expect from our farmhouse beer, plus a little bit of a punch from those plums. Not overly acidic by any means, but you just get that intense kind of plum characteristic. We've been blending or processing a lot of plum beers at this time of year. In fact, I'll be getting our fresh batch of Elephant Heart plums very soon, and it just smells like biting into a ripe plum. I mean, I'm sure you could say the same for all of our fruit beers, but for some reason I always think plums have a lot more of that. But not only does it taste like biting into a ripe plum, you still get an added increased in perceived flavor from the base beer for some reason. I don't know why. But that's why I love these plum beers so much, and we'll always continue to make plum beers, just because that's one of my favorite fruits to blend with, especially as we finish the summer and our fruit season. And this wasp or bee is a big fan of them as well. We'll see which one they go to. All right, cheers, EF. Have a great fall.